Okay. Okay, tribe. We are live. And let me get set up here. Got the mic down. I'm going to do my best to try to, as long as they don't start blasting music in the background in this live, I'm going to try best to have this video public as well after the live stream, as I think people will get a lot out of this live stream. Okay. And I just did a video for the tribe that kind of went along with this topic we're going to talk about. The topic is how to go all in on success and manifesting. I had a little bit of twist in it inside the tribe, and I think this is the best time to kind of bring it up. Is that you know what, you guys need to jump into the tribe. Now the tribe is the YouTube membership right on YouTube. Right now it's on YouTube because it's just easy. And the tribe is the best tribe on the YouTube planet. When you talk about YouTube, okay, we have the best tribe. We got the best tribe members. We got the best membership. We talk about success and manifesting, all there is inside the tribe. We talk about sensitive stuff, all types of stuff that's not for the public. Okay, how to get results. So jump into the tribe, check it out, and maybe I'll see you inside. But other than that, another thing I was kind of thinking about before we deep dive into this is that, like, on my channel with YouTube, I've been doing this stuff for a long time, guys. And, I love to kind of deep dive in success and manifesting. I love to kind of find out like what makes people really successful, what really makes manifesting work. When we talk about manifesting or identity, because it all comes back to identity, who you are being, who you think you are. Okay. So I'm going to start kind of going back to the basics here on a lot of my videos, just because a lot of my videos are very, very teachy. We dig deep into old school prosperity teachers and books and stuff like that. But I don't want to lose focus here. Okay, we need to I really want to go back and keep this simple and simplified for everybody, and even for myself. I need to do this from time to time. So this is going to be a no BS video. I'm going to try to keep my language at par because it's YouTube, we're live and stuff like that. And because anybody can jump on to the live stream and stuff. This isn't like a normal video. So I got to keep the language at par a little bit because it is a YouTube live, which I don't use bad language in my videos normally. But sometimes if I'm in the mood, the way I'm in the mood is today, a word or two might slip out of my mouth. So I apologize up front. But anyway, let's get back to this topic. How to go all in, baby. How to go all in. And I think lots of times what happens is people's like, oh, Chad, can't you just give me a 24-hour manifesting technique? So if you're asking that, like, honestly, you got a lot to learn. Pretty much, I'm just going to just be right out there and tell you, you got a lot to learn, baby. Okay, if you just want some manifesting technique and you think a manifesting technique is going to change your life, well, you're going to struggle for a long time. Okay, you think a 24-hour manifesting technique is going to bring you what you want. Yes, sometimes they work. If you got you're in a right mind frame, in a right mindset and stuff like that. But most of the time they don't. Okay, because the only way they work is if you change your identity, change your self-image, and change your self-concept of yourself. Okay, but I'm not talking about manifesting techniques here. Okay, manifesting techniques, they have a place. Okay, but they're not the all be all type of thing. All manifesting techniques do, guys, it's immediate gratification to keep you stuck in your old life. That's what immediate gratification is. Immediate gratification is all over the internet, all over marketing. It's in every single business. Get results now. What's the hack? You know what I mean? There is nothing. It's just you working on you, baby. That's what it is. So again, what I mean by going all in, okay? What do I mean by going all in on manifesting, all in on success? What does that really mean? Okay, so let's have some fun with this. Let me move over my mic. I got the dog sleeping on the floor. Lucky's looking at me because I woke him up, dragging this This stand is actually pretty heavy. Okay. What do I mean by going all in? You see, what happens is when we do identity work, everything comes down to identity. Everything comes down to our self concept, what we think about ourselves, what we think about ourselves, what we think, what we can have and not have, what we think, what we can have in our life and not have in our life. Everything comes down to our identity, what we think we deserve. Okay, that's our identity. And listen, guys, that's our old identity. Okay. Now, when you go all in, what most of you do, you say, Chad, I go all in, but you're literally like, envision here for a second. You're literally like, you go to the park in your town, your city you live in, they have a public swimming pool, and you go into the public swimming pool. And besides walking over to the deep end of the swimming pool, where you're going to climb up the high dive, the diving board, and run across a diving board and do a cannonball into the deep end of the pool, instead of doing that, you walk over to the baby pool where you 1 year olds are still in diapers. That's where you hang out. Then you tell me, Chad, I go all in. No, baby, that's not going all in. Okay, you're hanging out in a kiddie pool. Okay, and listen, that metaphor is exactly what you're doing in your life. That metaphor is exactly, okay, that metaphor is exactly what you're doing in manifesting and success. You say you don't go all in, you say you drew the line in the sand, but you didn't. Okay, this is what you're doing. This is your old self. Now try to align it with the camera. This is your old self. Okay. This is where all your good habits, bad habits, this is what keeps you in your comfort zone. Remember, your comfort zone, your old self, is not going to bring you your dream life. You have to understand this, guys. Your dream life isn't in your comfort zone. Your dream life isn't in your old self, your old identity, your old self concept. It's not going to bring you your SP. It's not going to bring you your your dream house, your dream car, your dream career. It's not going to bring you none of that. You staying over here. Okay. But what a lot of you are doing, you say you're all in, but you go to the swimming pool and you hang out in the baby pool. You're like this. You're literally your old self right here. You're this close to it. Listen, this is a concept I want you to get. You're too close to your old identity. Listen, when you're too close to it, it's too easy to go backwards. You understand what I'm saying? When you're too close to it, it's too easy for you to go back. Okay. Because listen, you are going to take a couple steps backwards from time to time. But when you're too close to your old self, you go right back to your old habits, your old thinking patterns, your old decisions that's holding you back. Okay. That's what you have to understand. Okay. Now, what do I mean by going all in? And by the way, guys, I don't know how long I'm going to go live. Like once I'm done with this, I might just the live stream might end. Okay. But now, what do I mean by going all in? Okay, this is your old self again. And in manifesting and success, you always hear about you got to be the most successful version of you. Okay. You want to live life on your terms, you want your dream life, where you got to act like the most successful version of you. Okay. Now, listen, the most successful version of you is way over here. There's a giant flipping gap. Guys, this is your old self. This is the most successful version of you. You understand? This is nighttime. This is daytime. It's totally flipping reversed. Okay. This is going all in. Okay. Now, what does this have to do with manifesting? Let me give you some examples. When I say you go all in, listen, how long I've been going live? It's been like 9 minutes. I think I have to wait for like a 10-minute mark before I use a bad word. Okay, on this live stream. Okay, so I'll wait for a little bit for that. But listen, you gotta be so egotistical with yourself, your self concept, your self talk, what you say. You got it. That's a flip flop. Over here, you're like a Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Nice Woman. You're just being nice. You're being nice to what you want. Maybe you believe it, maybe you don't. No, it would be like, listen, listen, it would be nice for it to come. But if it doesn't, if that just happens to lucky people, like listen, guys, like you're literally just playing around with BS. You're basically, your self-talk is BS. That's what you flipping sound like. Okay, okay. But instead, this is what I mean by your old identity here. The most successful version of you is way over here. Okay, listen, for a time being, you gotta be egotistical as fuck, baby. Listen to that. You gotta be egotistical. You gotta up talk yourself. Okay. You gotta talk to yourself like, dude, everything works out. Everything works out for me. Everything works out in my favor. Every time I go somewhere, there's opportunity and flipping everything for me. Everybody loves me. My business is booming, baby. Everybody wants to work with me. My intuition is on flipping fire. Okay. I'm so flipping busy, I can't even keep up with it. Okay, I'm so flipping busy on YouTube and social media and all the stuff I do. I can't even reply to comments. That's how busy I am. That's how important I am. I'm the number one person in manifesting. I've been doing this stuff for a long time. Everybody understands what I talk about. There is no confusion. Okay, I'm the king of YouTube, baby. I'm the king of manifesting. We have the best tribe on planet YouTube. Okay, that's how you have to talk to yourself. Now, I'm kind of trying to keep my language down a little bit. That's why I might sound a little bit weird. Okay, I don't want to say a cuss word after cuss word after cuss word. Okay. But listen, you got to be so egotistical with yourself. And listen, guys, I don't mean ego as far as you're mean to other people, you put down other people, you talk about other people. Let's talk about this for a second. Okay. If your mind goes in the gutter like that, that's not how the most successful version of you even thinks. You know what? Because listen, that most successful version of you, that's a millionaire, that's a multimillionaire, that $15 million man, listen, isn't going to look down at people. They're going to uplift people. Okay. They're not going to talk about people behind their back because they're too busy focusing on them. Okay. Successful people don't talk about other people. You have to get that. And if you want to debate with me, well, Chad, successful people talk about other people, then you don't know any successful people in your life. Seriously. Okay. I'm going to be just blunt in your face. Okay. Guys, I mean, I lived in LA. I lived in Culver City, down by Beverly Hills for 18 years in California. All I did is hang out with celebrities. I worked in the entertainment industry the most of the time. Okay. I knew wealthy people. When I got into business, my mentors were wealthy. All I did is hang out with millionaires, and not one flipping time do I hear them put people down. Okay. Listen, only peasants put people down. Only the poor and the middle class put people down. That's the truth, baby. Maybe the truth stings a little bit, but that's the truth. Okay. Successful people uplift people. Okay. Successful people don't get to the top and they kick down the ladder so other people can't come with them. You have to understand this. Okay. You got to get your thoughts right. Okay. But the bottom line here, going back to how to go all in, that's what you got to do. Okay. The whole concept is, no matter if we want to talk about self-talk, what we're talking to ourselves. Okay. The whole point is you got to be extreme. You got to be extreme with this stuff. You got to be extreme with your belief. You have to be delusional with what you believe. You got to totally believe without a shadow of a doubt that you have dominion on this earth. If you have dominion on this earth, that doesn't mean I have dominion over other people. That means I have dominion over me, baby. That's what it means. I have dominion over me, my thoughts, my actions, only Chad. Okay, I call the shots of my life. I decree what happens in my life. I demand what happens in my life. Does that make sense? That's how you have to talk to yourself. When you wake up in the morning, you have a decree in the morning. Okay, today's going to be a $30,000 day. Everything's going to work out with me today. Okay, opportunities are everywhere. Opportunities come to me like flies on flipping shit. Okay. And that's how I usually talk to myself. Okay, you listen, you got to talk to yourself how you actually talk. Okay, you don't talk to yourself and all of a sudden your self talk. Okay, you got to be grammatically correct. Okay, well, Chad, you said that affirmation and that's not grammatically correct. Well, listen, Bobo. Listen, Bobo the clown that just said that. Listen, I talk, I say affirmations, literally how I talk. That's what your subconscious is going to respond to. Your subconscious isn't going to respond to a grammatically correct sentence that is said how you don't even say it. You understand? Okay. You got to put affirmations and things you say exactly how you would say them. Now, if you swear, you cuss all the time, then you swear and cuss all the time in your affirmations and your self talk. Okay, baby? Okay. Now let's continue. Now you can apply this to everything. When you go all in, all I mean is you got to be extreme, baby. You got to be extreme. And listen, you won't be extreme forever, okay? Because basically you're extreme with your self-talk because it's bringing you confidence that you need. It's uplifting your self-concept, your self-image. You're staying in your lane. You don't give a shit about anybody else but you, okay? And again, I have to explain myself is that doesn't mean you don't care about people. That means you stay in your own flipping lane. That means other people's shit is their shit. Other people's problems are their problems, baby. They're not my problems. They're not Chad's problems. Okay, that's what that means. I stay in my lane. I worry about Chad. Okay. I don't get attached to things outside of myself. Everything is within me. Nothing is outside of me. Okay. Other people's problems are outside of me. I can't control other people. Okay. Bottom line. That's how this stuff works. Okay. Now, when you go all in, to kind of clear up what I was saying, when you go all in, you're going to be extreme for a little while, okay? Because you're not used to doing this, okay? Okay, you're over talking yourself. You're trying to increase your self concept, increase your belief, increase your confidence. But listen, guys, sooner or later, you're going to come down in the middle. Okay, listen, you didn't go back to your old self. You came to the middle, a little bit normal, a little bit normalville, a little bit. Okay, but this is why I said in the beginning is you don't want to be too close to your old self. When you're too close to your old self, then when you revert back, you revert back right into your old self. Okay, 100%. But when you're extreme, when you revert back, you basically revert back to normal. Okay, now in manifesting success, what is normal? Normal is you believe it, baby. You finally believe it. You finally believe that abundance is yours. You finally believe that source is inside you. You finally believe that abundance is your birthright. You finally believe that you can have anything you want. You believe it to your core. Okay. And it doesn't shake you anymore. Okay. Other people don't shake you anymore. You understand what I'm saying? The other people's opinions is their opinions. It doesn't move you. It doesn't shake you. Okay. Other circumstances that you're going on in your life, it doesn't move you. It doesn't shake you. You deal with it. You move on. Okay. You're more confident. You know how this stuff works. That's why you come down to normal. Okay. You don't need to sit there and say crazy egotistical affirmations like you did before because you believe it now. Okay. When you believe something, you don't think about it all the time. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. Now let's switch it up a little bit. Okay. We're talking about manifesting a success. Another example, I gave this to the tribe. Okay. Another example, really fast, is when you're extreme. Okay. Let's say you're an empath. Okay. I know a lot about being an empath because I'm an empath. Okay. All an empath is that you got two superpowers. Two superpowers, my friends. Is that the first superpower is you can feel other people's energy. Okay. And when you feel other people's energy, okay, this is a blessing and a curse when you're an empath Because what that really means is when you feel other people's energy, you actually absorb their energy, meaning you absorb what what they're going through, the issues they're going through, what they don't like. You're kind of taking it on like it's really happening to you. Okay. You understand? The second superpower you have is intuition. You have a very, very heightened intuition because you might not listen to your intuition, but it's very heightened. Okay. It's way more heightened than the average person. The reason why it's heightened is because you can feel other people's energy. So they basically go twofold. Okay. It's the same example, guys. Okay, when you're an empath, you can't be this close to trying to change yourself. You're too close. Okay. Okay. Now the whole thing with being an empath, it's not about not being an empath. It's about controlling your superpowers that you have. We all have superpowers. It's about learning how to control the superpowers. If we don't learn how to control the superpower controls us. That's what we have to get. Okay. It's the same thing. If you're an empath, you're over here, you got to be extreme for a little while. Now, what's being extreme with an empath? Being extreme with an empath is literally saying your shit is your shit. Because I know how I am. If I start overthinking or start thinking, I'm going to feel their energy. Next thing I know, I'm taking their issues like they're my issues. You know what I mean? And that's very dangerous for manifesting. When you start absorbing other people's energy like you're really going through it, well, guess what you end up doing? You end up manifesting that into your own life. Okay. That's how, you understand how this stuff works, baby. Okay. So you gotta be extreme. You gotta go over here where now in the beginning you're gonna feel mean. You're gonna feel like I'm being mean to people because you're super sensitive about feeling other people's feelings or whatever. So you're gonna feel mean. You're gonna feel like a horrible person, but you got to do it for a little while. Okay, you got to be extreme over here. Like, hey, don't come over. Don't get too close because your bad luck is going to rub off on me. Your shit is your shit. Okay, what you're going through in your life is what you're going through in your life. Don't come over here, baby. Okay, you do that for a little while. What happens is you come to the middle. You don't go way back to your old self, but you come to the middle where it doesn't affect you as much. Okay. That's what I mean. You come to the middle where you're finally in control of your superpower. Your superpower isn't in control of you. Okay, my friends? Okay. Now, what else are we going to talk about here? How to go all in. Okay. If you're jumping on here, you're kind of jumping on to the middle of the video, uh, but the middle of the live stream. But what we have to understand is on the second thing of going all in, is whatever you assume to be true has to happen for you. You have to understand. That's why in the beginning, I don't want to knock off my laptop here. I'm like whack. I'm going to judo hit it. I don't want to flop on a. You might see me cry in this live stream. I'll be like, oh my god, what happened? But anyway, guys, when we talk about listen, what we believe to be true has to happen to us. Whatever we believe to be true has to happen to us. Okay. The reason why in the beginning, when we go all in, we're in egotistical mode. Okay. We're really uplifting ourselves. We're talking to ourselves like we've never talked to ourselves before. Okay. Like I'm the most egotistical person on planet Earth. That's how we're talking to ourselves. But at the same time, you have to understand whatever you assume to be true has to occur in your life. Whatever you say as a statement has to happen for you, to you. It has to happen in your 3D world. It could be simple stuff, guys. It could be simple as if I believe something's going to be hard, well, it's going to be hard. If I believe something's easy, it's going to be easy. Okay. You understand. If you think relationships are hard, well, relationships are going to be hard. If you think relationships are easy, relationships are going to be easy. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. If you're going to school, you're in college, you're going back to college. If you think this class is going to be hard, it's going to be hard. If you think it's going to be difficult for you, it's going to be difficult for you. You understand? If you think abundance is you if you think abundance is limited, it's going to be limited for you. If you think success is lucky, well, other people are going to be lucky around you except you. It's literally the mirror effect. Whatever is inside you is 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 coming manifesting into your 3D world. Okay? Law of attraction, manifesting, whatever, is working 24 hours a day, no matter if you like it or not, no matter if you're aware of it or not. You understand? It's literally just what we say, what we believe, what the secret, basically what the secret me. What's the secret, Chad? The secret me really believes that's what's going to manifest in my life. Same way for you. The secret you, the thoughts that you don't tell anybody, that's what you're experiencing in your life. Okay. I'll give you an example of my mom. One time I went home, this was like a few years ago, and my mom and my sister was doing this diet. They were doing the diet for several months before I came home. I was in Thailand. I came home to visit. And my mom was kind of being frustrated with this diet, but she's been doing it several months, and she didn't feel like she was getting results or getting the results that she really wanted. And she said something to me, and I called it, and I pointed it out in her. I called her say something like this. Well, I knew from the beginning this wasn't going to work. Ooh, ooh, did you hear that? I knew from the beginning this wasn't going to work. And I called her. I said, Mom, did you hear what you said? Like she was just saying it kind of unconsciously, subconsciously. She wasn't even listening to herself what she said. And I said, You just said, I knew from the beginning this wasn't going to work. Then, like 4 months later, it's not working. So that's what I want to call it. I had another word for it, but I had a brain fart. I apologize. Okay. Whatever you assume to be true has to be shown to you. You know what I mean? She assumed from the beginning it was a deep rooted. That's what she was kind of just probably telling herself, not out loud, but saying in her mind, this isn't going to work. And it didn't work. You have to understand what you constantly say is happening in your life. Okay. That's why I said in the beginning, almost the beginning of this live, is you got to be super egotistical with yourself. Okay. You got to talk to yourself like you've never talked to yourself before. Everything I do works out for me. Okay. I do a diet. Ooh, I'm going to be the sexiest person on earth. It's going to work, baby. Okay. My business is booming. Everybody wants to work with me. Okay. I have the biggest tribe on planet YouTube right now. My intuition's on fire. Okay. I have so many ideas. I can't even keep up with them. Okay. When I wake up in the morning, you demand how your day is going to go. You understand what I'm saying? You demand it. You drew the line in the sand. You're not playing around anymore. Okay. You call the shots. Okay. If scripture says that source is inside me, God isn't up in the clouds hanging out with the Care Bears. He's inside of me. Okay. If source is inside of you, if God is all abundant, well, that makes me all abundant. If abundance is infinite, that makes abundance infinite with me in my life. Okay. If God said in the Bible, in the New Testament, Jesus said, you have dominion on this earth. Well, that means I have dominion on this earth. I call the unseen into the seen. I say what happens. I'm the boss of my life, baby. That's what it means. I call the shots. I say what happens. I say what goes. I say what I want, and it has to come to me. Okay. That's what I mean. You got to do this because you got to change those secret thoughts you have about yourself. Those secret thoughts that are really running your life, my friends. That's what it really means by going all in. Tribe. Okay. That's why when you follow other channels, when people have other channels and they're successful in manifesting and manifesting is working for them, okay, when they talk about going all in, Maybe they're not explaining it like me. Maybe they explain it better than me. Who knows? Who cares? Okay. But the thing is, this is exactly what they're doing. They're going all in. They're going all in. They're being delusional as fuck with what they want, with how they talk to themselves. They can have anything. That's what they're doing. Okay, their self-talk, how they talk to themselves, what they demand in their life is on steroids. Okay, that's what they're doing, my friends. Okay, they drew the line in the sand. They got to a point in their life that they were tired of just being tired. You understand? They were just tired of things not working. They were just tired of they're striving, they're striving, they're striving. They've done everything in their mind. Okay, they've done every manifesting technique. They've done every success strategy. Okay, and they're still at where they're at. You understand, my friends? They're not moving. And that's a very frustrating phase. And I think most of us have experienced that. You understand? Okay. But as I wrap up this live stream, uh, this video is going to go public. So if you're taking this stuff serious, like inside the description down below is a link to the 30-day challenge. Check out the 30-day challenge. That's real deep identity work. That's changing you. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, baby. It's changing you. It's going to the root cause why things are not working in your life. Okay, if you change the root, listen, if you change the root, it doesn't matter what you want. If you change the root, it doesn't matter if you want to attract your SP, you can do it. If you change the root, it doesn't matter if you want to manifest your dream house, you can have it. If you change the route, it doesn't matter if you want to manifest your dream car, you can have it, baby. If you change the route, it doesn't matter if you want to manifest money, you want to be a millionaire, multimillionaire, you want to be the $15 million man or the $15 million woman, you can have it. But listen, all this it's tied to the root. You have to, there is no secret out there. It's tied to you, but it's tied to the root. Change the root cause and you expose everything. You understand? So check out the 30-day challenge. That's in the description for you. But other than that, tribe, other than that, YouTube fam, I'm going to go. I just want to jump on here. It's a half hour. Today is Sunday, by the way, so I got a lot of stuff to get done. I got the Sunday coffee talk to actually schedule and put up. I filmed it, but I have to refilm half of it because unfortunately my mic died right in the middle of the coffee talk. So I gotta see where my mic died, and I have to kind of refilm that segment, or at least wrap it up from there. But anyway, tribe, remember, I love you guys. Just want to jump on here and share those thoughts with you. Hopefully you got something out of it. With anything, comment below. I'd love to hear your comments on this. We can chat it up in the comments as much as I can. But remember, I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next live stream, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.